All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to the OMLN4 tournament. Back again with the first round of 32 match. We are going through this next batch of rounds while we have a bit of an early match on Friday, going late into the evening of Friday, especially for both these players, even going from the Asian and American time zones. They're going to be facing each other to see who's going to be sent down into that losers bracket. Going to be none other than JayLye seed 12 up against the likes of Znow seed 21. Both these players have made it out of the round of 64 phase successfully and are ready to see who's going to be downed in this round. And before we get onto that, as usual, I'm your host, Command 2, and joining alongside is going to be none other than Adam Ackerville. What is rocking?
Hello everybody, it is I, Adam Ackerville, back for more commentary for round of 32 on one of the best tournament of this year, OMLN4. Very hyped up tournament in general. Well, I'm back again for another amazing time on round of 32. First up of the week, we are starting off strong with two of the best players we will be seeing for quite a while. We will be having JayLye seed number 12 against Znow seed number 21. Both players have beaten their round of 64 players and are now in the winner's bracket, facing against each other now. So, let's give a little bit of background information on these players, shall we? First off, we have JayLye. This player has been in the Mania World Cup scene as well, played for the Malaysian team alongside our lovely Leon. We know who he is. And on the Znow side, he has done multiple tournament runs, actually winning some as well with fellow teammates, and is also our commentator for this tournament. Unfortunately, he can't commentate right now, he's playing, but looking back, we will be seeing JayLye beating his opponent, Okatakana, on round of 64, while Znow actually had a pretty scary opponent straight off the bat, Polymerid, now facing off against JayLye.
Yeah, absolutely. Both these players are very reputable when it comes to their own respective scenes and tournament community, and especially then having a face-off in this round very, very early. I know both these players are very equalized when it comes to what their advantages and disadvantages are, so it's going to be a really tough match for both these players to really try and make it out of, because of the fact that this is only round of 32 after all. Most people would expect that this round isn't going to be that inherently scary, but especially with how high the stakes are, with how many experienced players there are in this round, this is going to be a bloodshed. And starting off with the coordination 2 pick, the bands of protect are done. It's now time to kick it off with none other than Chase Me.
Yep, to reiterate, JayLye has chosen to protect Coordination 1, while Znow has opted out to protect the wildcard tree, and both respectful party has banned both Technical 1 and Wildcard 1 on their each side. Znow opting out for the coordination first rather than anything else, despite JayLye protecting the coordination here. Interesting game plan to see, since it is part of the skill set that JayLye has protected. We'll need to see what Znow can do on this map, especially since it is his pick for coordination 2 and not JayLye's, for example.
Yeah, I do think that one thing to keep in mind is that, especially with some of the coordination maps, there is a bit of a comparison that I can make between both these players, that they had both played Painted Dreams from last round, and it turns out that JayLye had a bit of a bigger edge on that one in comparison to Znow there, probably due to the nerf factor. So this one going to be a lot more intense, going to be a lot more burst oriented as a coordination map. This is basically going to try and even out both these players, going to see who's going to be snagging that first point, as this is a relatively safe pick after all. Definitely one of the most stronger first picks, I'd say, from the pool of noodles that we got in this restaurant here.
Alright. Instead of the other maps such as the technical maps and wildcard maps, which is more risky to play, as it's more easy to drop a lot of 200 and more uncomfortable pattern comparing to the coordination map. I'm thinking, since Znow, knowing their skill set and all their prowess in the coordination map, they must have practiced. They opt out to choose in the coordination 2 first to be a little bit more safe on the pick side before we go into the future picks as we will be getting right after this map starts to finish. JayLye having a 2000 score lead, slowly going up compared to Znow, having a few accuracy drop here and there, and that's actually the first map done. Pretty short, pretty simple coordination too.
Yeah, a very sharp lead from JayLye to kickstart the match off, going in with a 9-9 free K, just about only for literally only 23 points shy of that 9-9 free K score, and only 2 grades as well. Basically going to be just over 100 perfects under Znow's score here, and that's going to even out basically what we can expect here. So I feel like here it's going to be Znow's pick right now, and they're going to be going in for the immediate wildcard free picks. That's going to be Virtual Paradise, from what I can see here. Hope I'm reading this correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Virtual Paradise, Wildcard Tree, Znow's Protect. I have to iterate, I did mess up what I was talking earlier. Znow did not pick Coordination 2. It was JayLye. There we go. That makes a lot more sense now. But Znow deciding to opt out in his Protect right away. I thought it was going to be maybe Wildcard 2 or another specific skill set that he may go with other than his Protect, since some players usually opt out to choose their Protect either on the second or third time they get to pick, and rarely on the first one to more or less test the water first. But it seems like we will straight away be jumping right into his Protect Wildcard Tree Virtual Paradise map by Epsilon.
Yeah, this map is relatively straightforward for what it has to offer. It does have a lot of these rather, dare I say, technical patterns, and a lot of these stream bursts as well kind of going to follow up on the meta that we would have seen from Wildcard Free last round, where it was fairly density oriented with some influences of other types thrown in as well, going to try and be a little control oriented as well, and that's going to be something that I feel is going to be really important here for both these players, but especially going after Coordination 2. This does feel like a very fair pick to go into. The scoreline wasn't really that big between the two. It's really just going off of some of these pretty minuscule misjudgments on the side of Znow, where especially going to get some of these grades and stuff, it's only 0.16% apart between these two right now in accuracy.
Yeah, this wildcard, if I'm not wrong, is more on the density side rather than the coordination aspect. So maybe after this, Znow may choose or opt out to go into the density section, or decide to go with the other wildcards still available. JayLye did find a 200 drop earlier on, but that didn't really seem to drop his accuracy down by much, still holding the 99.81%, while Znow has dropped down his accuracy by about a 0.1% almost, down to 99.66% now. A fair accuracy lead that is visually visible compared to JayLye.
Yeah, indeed. And Znow doing really well so far to be able to maintain that combo as best as they can, because that is going to be some of the most crucial things to at least try and keep intact when you're going into a match like this, where you are faced against someone that is literally a monster when it comes to a lot of these LN maps. Like, literally, all the owls that I know of in the woods know who JayLye is, and he is literally destroyed a lot of players in what I've seen. Even me in, like, what, 2 tournaments before? I think Pato already knows, like, literally what the first tournament was, but not gonna mention there for now. But yeah, so far, final core of the map remaining. There's only, seems like JayLye in both these, seems like, actually no. Wait, what am I thinking?
Mind thought alert, but anyway, back on track. JayLye did find a 200 drop there, and Znow is actually slowly catching up in terms of accuracy now, but slight hiccup in terms of the 200 there, but it's more closer than ever now as we enter the final end of the map. As we enter into round of 32 already, it's more on the combo aspect rather than your accuracy now, since compared to round of 64, I did test the map for myself. It's definitely visibly and physically more harder compared to round of 64 by quite a big margin already, and that's already the end of the second map, Wildcard Tree. Breakpoint going towards JayLye, stealing away Znow's Protect here with better ratio by around 200 perfects and slightly less 200 count. It's really the ratio where it hits the nail in the mark for JayLye.
Yeah, indeed. And honestly, very strong scores from both these players, kind of matching the scores that we got from Coordination 2 earlier. So right now, Znow is in a bit of a pickle right now in terms of the situation they are in. They are 2-0 down off of 2 picks and also losing on their own pick as well. They're gonna have to try and at least win off of some of the next few maps to prevent JayLye from getting closer to that match point, because this is a best of 9. This is once again a best of 9 situation. Only one of these players can make it into the winners bracket still, and Density 1 gonna be the next pick is gonna be Luminous Rage. So this one, guess still an interesting pick. Kind of still follow the idea of there being kind of dense maps in terms of like when you having to play for a lot of these LN walls in specific, but this one's gonna be a little different, a little more distinguished in comparison to what we have seen of both Chase Me and Virtual Paradise thus far.
Alright, instead of, for example, Density 2, Density 1 is more on the density side, but that's still a key ingredient in terms of proper release timing, rather than Density 2, where it acts more like a hand stream or jump stream kind of chart. Density 1 works a little bit more differently, so him opting out to choose that makes a lot more sense compared to the other maps. He still has his Coordination 1 Protect available. Not only that, it's probably his best skill set. That means Coordination 3 is also on the board, so he can choose that as a secret pick in case things get too risky for the other picks. Like Tech 1 is banned, but there is still other options for JayLye if needed. But as we get into the map, straight away JayLye did actually find a early 200 count compared to Znow still holding that V1SS still, if I'm not wrong and seeing the players correctly. But with JayLye having that ratio differences in terms of game, is able to get back his accuracy relatively fast compared to Znow here, still holding on to a 99.75%.
Yeah, very strong starts from both these players, doing their best to at least ensure that the scoreline is very neck and neck. And even then, the scoreline is a lot closer from what we have seen of the 2 maps prior to this one so far. So definitely looking to be a pretty good pick for Znow. Any misjudgment and any mistake from the side of JayLye is going to be able to at least give the lead back up to Znow. But taking a bit of a drop there, that's going to bring the scoreline to just nearly under 2,000 points. So at least it's still close enough at least. It's just really down to a miss from the side of JayLye, but knowing how consistent he is as a player, I don't know how likely this is unless we see something really funny in the map happen.
Yeah, not only that, as we slowly enter to the second half of the map, not only did JayLye was able to recover from the early 200 drop, he's actually been gaining accuracy this entire map back to almost 99.90%, just barely, while Znow just actually dropped the 200 count right there, dropping his accuracy down slightly more, trying to get back his accuracy back to at least 99.70% to at least have a breather if JayLye does find a miss or two to catch back in terms of the score lead. But as of now, 3,000 score going towards JayLye is not gonna be stopping anytime soon as we enter the first real density section of the map, where more coordination is needed to play these short long nodes mixed in with longer long nodes coming in. JayLye is just destroying it. Znow kept getting his accuracy back up now to beyond 99.70%.
Yeah, so far both players still doing well. Even with that mistake from Znow earlier in the map, they're still doing a very good job of being able to hold on, and that I feel is going to be one of the most important things, because this is one of the longer maps in the pool that we have. As far as my memory goes, I believe the map is at least around 3 minutes of length, so definitely going to throw a lot of these players off. But even then, so far both these players have been dominating the map throughout here, even with some minor slip-ups like that 1 minuscule great on the side of JayLye here. They still have about 3,000 points of a cushion going into this next section, but final aim for the map, there's still going to have to at least be something to happen for either of these players to at least ensure that they can get the lead, because this is still a very unsafe lead for JayLye, even if they have the consistency advantage by virtue of, well, consistency alone.
Yeah, as we enter the end of the map is just gonna be about closing in. JayLye still holding on to that strong 99.80%, not dropping too much ag as we enter the end of the map and securing him the third map point of the match.
Very, very strong points from both players once again. And I feel like in general, the score lines in general between both these players has remained the same throughout this whole match so far. And we are already 3 maps in. JayLye still in 3-0 right now, almost at the match point. Only if we see him at least get another breakpoint off of Znow's. Well, it's going to be Znow's next pick from here on.
Yeah, more or less on those 3 maps that we have seen and seen JayLye and Znow played, the score lead about is 3 to 4,000 or maybe 2,000 in terms of score leads towards JayLye, and we will be jumping right into the next density, density 3, the shortest density of them all actually.
Yeah, that's definitely going to open up for a lot of chokes.
Yeah, this is more on the unethical side since, first of all, it's not the generic Density 2 hamstring jumpstream pattern you see, like Density 2, mapped by Potiraj. This one is more on the unconventional side, mapped by Toph Daddy. We will be seeing, I cannot read that, that's way too small for text, but it's more of a mix in terms of Density 2 and unconventional pattern, I guess. Not only that, this is jumping right after Density 1, so both players have the density rhythm down in their fingers right now.
Yeah, and especially knowing Toph's mapping style when it comes to LN density in general, I know that a lot of his works in that field really just open up to a lot of really awesome patterns that can just throw a lot of other players off. Like, literally, most people know his name when it comes to the tournament scene. There's just no way that you'll even go into a tournament right now without even knowing who Toph is at this point. I mean, having played in MWC like years ago and stuff for the USA team, he was cracked at that. So yeah, going into this one, that's already the first core of the map gone, and even then, there's only really 1,000 points kind of flickering around various integers in the side of JayLye right now, going off of some misjudgments on the side of Znow.
Yeah, if I'm not wrong, this density, despite being the shortest density of them all, has some of the most hardest pattern to hit and act properly, as we see both JayLye and Znow actually really close in terms of the accuracy game as of now as we enter the second half of the map. Do note, this is under 2 minutes long, the shortest map, if I'm not wrong, in the entire map pool, and it's a density map by Toph Daddy with multiple short long nodes in mix with proper longer nodes density section that can easily trip up your accuracy, even find a miss, and that's where the consistency part of it all comes together, as both of these players still holding onto the full combo. JayLye actually capitalizing on his long node skill set here, jumping from 99.70% at the beginning all the way up to 99.81% as we are closing into the under the map.
No!
JayLye at the end finds a miss, giving the swing of the lead straight back into Znow, getting his first point of the match. 3-1 to Znow. When you see it.
Oh my goodness. That is a very unfortunate drop right there, bro. It was literally on the final stretch, the final 5 seconds, and then the miss just comes out and switches it over and brings it about 9,000 and redacted into Znow's favor.
Not only that, Znow did V1 double S the map actually. The lead was always on JayLye until the very end where he finally finds that miss that Znow really needed. It's only the ratio game on JayLye's side. He actually has 200 count on his side as well. But Znow just held out. V1 double S that. And JayLye with some scripting right, I guess, finds a miss. It's for the script, guys. Trust me.
I mean, when it comes to these kinds of matches, you always gotta expect the script to at least come into play, especially in the worst of moments. Unfortunately, it was the script that made it, not us. We're just reading what we literally given on the screen here. But gonna be Density 2 exhausting that whole Density category already, but Znow successfully preventing the sweep from being able to be completed going into JayLye's third point. It's now time to see whether JayLye can at least try and secure that match point by going into the final Density map that we have remaining on the board. Znow gonna try their best to at least try and rope things back into their favor. They do want the match to at least go a little quick. So this is kind of the hot topic we've been seeing going into this match, but we just have to see how this map goes. This is still quite lengthy, and well, have fun.
Yeah, not only that, this is density 2, more on the hand stream and jump stream side of the density pattern of long node. You will see good example is that of the long node dance we've been seeing. Ooh, early 200 drop from JayLye already, start of the matchup. Finding that early release on the longer long nodes, catching him off guard. Now, to give a heads up, it's currently beyond 2 a.m. for JayLye's side, and Znow has to head out in under an hour. So both players really is looking forward to finish the match faster and earlier. So I'm guessing that's why they decide to choose the shortest of the maps they know they can try and win on, that is comfortable for them. But they did say in the chat, the density picks are actually weird for them. So different game plans, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't know. Sometimes in these kind of situations, you just need different game plans to be able to try and look into snagging some points for yourself. And we can definitely see that here with JayLye going in about 2,000 points ahead of the lead, going into the back of the chart. Going to be going into some of these more density-oriented density patterns. I mean, they're going to be carrying out the trend, but even then, still doing really well with a lot of these really direction-oriented stream patterns, not being thrown off by some of these really weird timing releases that are in the map, but so far so good. Both players are still hitting through it very well. There's only really just about the final quarter to be able to try and see what the results can be.
The map is not truly over until the map ends, as we jump into the last quarter where everything holds onto the line for both players to secure this point. For Znow, it secures his match point. For JayLye, it secures his match point, while for Znow, it secures his break point. As we enter to the end of the map here, JayLye still has the accuracy lead by only 0.1%. Anything still can happen as we see the last few bit of the density section coming in. Both players holding that accuracy comfortably at their side, but JayLye just had the tiny bit of edge left, securing him his match point at 992k, a V1SS choke.
Damn. He was literally really close to that V1SS as well, only just one great in total, but that aside, it's now the final pick coming out from Znow, or at least the potential final pick that we can probably see on the board. All the density maps are gone now, and I know that both these players have been resorting to some of these really short maps just to try and get the match like quickly done with, and there's only really just like a few of them left on the board, and I feel like here, it's either that we're gonna have to see something like, oh my god.
Wildcard 2. Wow, that's really quick.
I was literally I didn't even finish my sentence, bro, and they literally picked that out for me. Like, oh my goodness. I mean, to be fair, it is the last remaining short map on the board, only 2.5 minutes, so fair play, I guess.
True, and to make it, more of a bunch pick, Znow is unable to pick Coordination 1. First of all, it's JayLye's Protect. He's unable to choose Coordination 3 as it's long and very risky on his side, because as of now, we've been seeing the ratio lead and accuracy lead always has been onto JayLye by a factor about 200 to 300 count on the 300 count side. And for the technical 2 and 3 pick, it's also pretty dangerous, since both maps are, well, first of all, technical, easy to drop 200s, and more on the finger independency side, so it's really risky. Maybe Wildcard 2 is, well, first of all, one of the shortest map, and a crunch pick. if I'm not wrong myself.
hmm It's definitely one of the shorter wildcard picks that we have in this map pool specifically, especially the fact that it kind of still resonates with in terms of being reflective of like all the other like element density esque maps. So we've seen some of these coordination oriented maps as well, but I mean, I did make this to try and like experiment with like Ellen coordination, but I ended up making something that would be considered a wildcard card here. Not that I'm complaining or anything, because like I don't know, it seems like people like this map, so I guess I may as well just take it. But so far, going past the first course, we see both these players doing really well so far, and the lead is still very, very close. No advantages to be seen bias on anyone's side for the time being.
Yeah, this is actually one of the first few maps we get to see JayLye actually under the 99.80% mark in a while, since on most of the pick, his accuracy has been really, really strong compared to Znow. And as of now, we are getting into the second half. JayLye still holding that accuracy just slightly below the 99.80% mark, where his comfort act, as we've seen, is, while Znow does drop a little bit of accuracy, but slowly climbing back into JayLye's range. The score lead is not too big compared to what was previously seen, as we see the previous picks being way more of a substantial lead compared to this one. Into the final quarter we go now.
Yeah, and I feel like this map in general is just one of those few maps in the map pool that really challenges your discomfort comparison, especially going into this course here where it basically continues the type of formula that would have been carried out in the previous courses, but making it a lot more uncomfortable in comparison to be able to add the challenge factor into it. And even then, so far, seems like it's working all out in favor in JayLye here. 2,000 points or so in their favor, and Znow is still, despite the combo, kind of struggling with a lot of these patterns, getting a lot of these yellow 300s, not being able to at least ensure they can act everything just as pristine, perfect, or clean as JayLye here. Going to get that 991k to end the match off, but that is it. 5-1 in the favor of JayLye, and that is going to knock Znow into the losers bracket, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, with that, JLI secures the 5-1 match in his favor, 991k on the last map with very, very good ratio and about 2 less 200 count. So GG well played to JLI. Please go to bed. It's about 2:30 a.m. your time. and and since Znow has been knocked into the losers bracket, good luck to you as well. So today is actually gonna be the only Friday match we will be having. Starting from Saturday and Sunday, we will be having more matches to be streamed. If I'm not wrong, the 14 UTC lineup has a lot of matches happening, so please stay tuned for that as we get to see which one is going to be streamed. It will be well announced, of course, so just look forward to the future lineups, as oh boy, the brackets are getting more scary and scarier as the round progresses.
Yeah, exactly. And especially here, we still have so many matches to watch going into this round. And the next one that we have is only in about like 5.5 hours from now. Going to be Z Curry versus Max Delaney in that losers bracket. So honestly, going to be interesting at 1 UTC. So
and apparently, we're not ending the stream. We're staying here. We're watching one of the best tiebreaker songs of all time.
Oh my God.
In the making.
No way! They're actually playing already for the first match?
Dude, our streamer, unfortunately, do not have the background video.
Aw. We could have had this. We could have literally had a freaking good future where we saw this being played out. But at least it's being played out in the end for the first match. That's really funny. Right at the very end as well, damn.
Yeah, not only that, this song, when it first came out in the map pool, I actually didn't watch it as it went live since I was asleep. I watched the VOD, I skimmed through the map pool, I saw the first custom being Wildcard 1, I really liked that. And I went into the tiebreaker and see this map, absolute piece of, if I do say so myself, sorry for the host, an absolute shit post. I was laughing
Bruh.
away.
I mean, I think that was the whole intention of this tiebreaker. It's just meant to be there for the funny and the love, but I don't know. There's a lot of surprises that this tournament has in general, having seen basically what is yet to come in the next few weeks or so. But obviously, I can't jump the gun here. We have, wow, obviously this. Then we also have the other two custom original songs that we had earlier on as well. So last side, both these players are still doing pretty well going into this tiebreaker, and we have not even seen a single miss from Znow going into the whole match at all. Like, damn, that's actually impressive.
Yeah, in terms of consistency, not missing, Znow is definitely up there with some of the better players. We also see JayLye here since, well, we know how good he's at long note. He played in MWC, goddammit, being one of the key players for the long note picks. And I did actually play this map, I think yesterday. I always, and I kid you not, always missed at the MSG section. And we actually see Znow missing first.
Literally the only time he broke character the whole match, bro. Oh my goodness.
Yep. Seems like they are farming for the OII, Audio Illusion. If you guys haven't partaken that, I suggest you do. Despite not being able to play some of the maps properly, at least give it a try to get that one ticket, so you have a option to hopefully win the lucky draw.
Yeah, exactly. That alone, yeah, honestly, very, very funky side game that this whole tournament is putting together. This is definitely like one of those few things that I never would have thought would happen at a tournament where you could literally win part of the prize money full on, or at least like just a 30th of it, basically, out of the other 70% that's used for the main prize pool and whatnot. But overall, very fun event that I feel y'all should, like, try out if you want to at least be involved with the tournament in one way or another, like even as a player, or if you're not, just here for the funsies and all that. Definitely something you could consider while you're at it.
Chat, time to start the copy and paste, baby. But yeah, like Epic Man was saying, this is probably one of the first or ever tournament to include something that makes non-player participant feel included in a way. Despite it is in a gacha system, it still makes people feel like they're involved in the making of this tournament, which is something I like. You don't really see that nowadays. It's only the players, and that's it. There's always, only the players feel included, not more on the non-player side. So this is honestly a really good and nice change of mood, especially since this tournament has been in very high production for quite a few years now.
Sorry, I'm just busy eating some Pringles right now. The whole tiebreaker showcase is just entertaining. I gotta bring the food out, bro.
Yeah, man, you forgot something, Epic Man. You have to sprinkle your Pringle can with a little bit of MSG.
This thing tastes
Never
like
forget.
MSG, bro. It's salt and vinegar.
Well, I guess add more MSG, man. You need more MSG into the Pringles. Shockingly, both of the players didn't miss at the section I did, which is the MSG break call. I swear, if anyone in the actual match setting goes into the tiebreaker, I can guarantee maybe one or two people would miss at that section, because it's not the pattern that will trip up the player, it's the song that will trip up the player.
Yeah, because it's just too funny. I mean, also, can I just point out how JayLye is still FC in the tiebreaker? Like, what? He's literally going into the ending right now. How are you FCing it? Like, bro, the match is over. Like, bro is still at the party even after. Bro!
There we go. Thank you, Epic Man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
There goes the full combo on his side. He almost FC'd. I FC'd this section multiple times, but God, That was with me missing on the MS3 part, but JayLye almost actually did chart live. Both of these players actually destroying the hell out of my score. Thank you very much for farming OII live for the viewers to see and destroying me in this map. God damn.
These are the top leagues in the tournament, showing you how it's done for Ordeal and Illusion, and you can definitely take that into consideration if when you are going to be, potentially playing for the last 2 days of this weekend. But that aside, I think it's safe to say that we can conclude the match here. We have basically gone through all the 7 or so maps that we have had to present for y'all, and especially the tiebreaker showcase on top. I hope that this gives you a pretty good idea of the stuff you could do with, well, Ordeal in an illusion, and on that note as well, we're gonna be seeing JayLye win between the winner of Peach Mountain versus Lalito. As for Znow, going to be knocked down and facing either between DA or I'm Yi.
Both really, really strong player, by the way. I'm Yi personally, well, and is still playing in Mania World Cup, by the way. So either way, Znow's gonna have a rough time in the bracket. Not only that, we do have CRZ nickname and Nikasume right at the bottom, and we'll be awaiting to see who's gonna be the loser of 55. They will be potentially be facing off against.
And yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, now back onto the amazing section, where on 1 UTC tomorrow, which is coming up in about roughly 4 or 5 hours or so, we will be having Zkary versus Max Tulini. Both really, really strong players in their own league. Played, well, Zkary personally, if I'm not wrong, also has played in the Mania World Cup. Max Tulini as well, being one of the best player in their country as of now. Ranked 200-ish, actually.
Yeah, indeed. Both these players very reputable within their two countries' representative, and gonna be a really cool match to watch in a few hours from now. So yeah, I think that basically wraps up everything that I wanted to say for this match. And Adam, do you have anything else that you want to add as that cherry on top before we close the stream off by any chance?
Well, nothing much really on my end other than knowing that this round bracket, if you think last round's bracket was very stacked, this round's bracket is even more stacked than you believe, and depending on who wins, will get to face even stronger opponents than they would imagine straight off the bat early in the round. So that's really it from me, nothing else to say. And since Epic Man, the man himself, has also said everything that is needed to be said, we will be closing the stream soon. This is your co-commentary, Adam Akaville, alongside Epic Man, and your lovely streamer, Pataraj, as you could tell with the Uma Musume.
Oh yeah, gotta wave that flag, bro. But yeah, thank you all for tuning into this amazing match, and we will catch you later on. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye, everybody.